Hello everyone. How's everybody doing today? Do you guys all have your mystery stamping supplies ready? I'm just getting everything loaded here on my end. Hi Ramona, how are you? I will give just a second or a few minutes for people to hop on, and while we wait, just let me know what stamp set or product you guys have chosen to work with today. Ramona, what are you using? I can't see just yet. Who's there? Hi, Janet. I'm just cleaning off my stamp because I have used StazOn on it, and I try to have it clean when I start with it again once it's had StazOn. What are you guys doing this weekend? On the horizon. Janet, what are you using? Don't mind me reaching through here. I'm just grabbing some cleaning tools to get this image cleaned off. I can't show it to you guys yet though. I am using a stamp from Grassy Grove. The Dove and Fields. Oh, hi Sharon, how are you? Oh, I can't wait to see what you make with that one, Janet. That's a good combo. We are still celebrating today. We're going to go to an escape room in a little bit. So I will actually place my stamp here and I'll let you guys see it. I am going to use this one here from Grassy Grove. And some of you have seen this because I actually did this same project with my team for mystery stamping on Tuesday. And then I also made some of these cards and gave them away. So, but it will still be fun to see what everybody made. And the draw that I'll do is just based on participation, not whether or not you had a little bit of an edge. So then I've got the thank you from Grassy Grove, so I'll use both of those. So in a minute, I will just review everything that I have for supplies, and then that way you guys can make sure that you have things that will work to play along here. So I have a stamp, and I actually have an embossing folder. So I am going to stamp on this layer here, and I'm going to texture it, but I will walk you guys through everything here before we get started, just so that you have a little bit of an idea. So first of all, I have a, whoopsie, I'm losing the little leaf there, a 5.5 by 8.5 piece of cardstock. Hi, Linda. So I'm going to start with this one. I have a 1 by 8.5 piece of cardstock that coordinates. I have a piece of 2 by 5 3/8 cardstock. I will stamp on this one and then texture it like a faux canvas effect. I have a 6 by 6 piece of DSP. I have a greeting label. I will stamp my greeting on this, and I will actually also layer my my little focal layers. They're also going to go on here. And then I've got a greeting and an image that I'm going to stamp on this panel, and then I will run this panel through with this folder. So if you guys need a second to grab some things like that to play along, I'll just check the comments again here and see if anyone else has said what they're playing along with today. And you will actually also need your Simply Scored or a way to score your card. We have a couple of score lines to put on there, and you're going to need a paper cutter. So make sure you grab those as well. We need to trim this piece of 6 by 6 DSP down. So I'll let you guys grab all of those, and then we will get started in just a couple of seconds. How is the snow melting for those of you here in Winnipeg? Is it disappearing from your yards? I cannot believe how much it has gone down in our backyard and the front since last week when we were here. And I'm also looking forward to being able to do some lives with you guys this coming week during spring break. It feels like it's been forever since I stamped with you guys. So Wednesday we had the walkthrough, Thursday we had the walkthrough. Yesterday I didn't get to come on, but that's okay. We had a birthday to celebrate. And so it just feels like it's been forever. Okay, so I have my Simply Scored. I am going to first score my card, and then I'm going to cut the DSP down. So we'll gather all of these and we'll get started. So I can move all this aside for now. I need the 2 colored pieces of cardstock. Maybe you have white. So these 2 pieces here that are 8.5 by 5.5 and 1 by 8.5. I've actually pre-scored mine, but I'll still score them along with you guys so that you can follow along. So you'll put your piece of paper into your Simply Scored or your trimmer, however you're scoring it. And you need to score at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. So we'll do those 2 measurements. And then we're going to do the same 2 measurements on this piece here that is 1 by 8.5. So 2 1/8 by 4 1/4. So I'll let you guys do those. And we can now put this aside, and we need a cutter. I need to use my larger cutter for this one because I need to trim down the 6 by 6, and the 1 measurement will not fit in my little cutter. So I want to keep, I have this horizon here, and I want to keep that in the lower portion of my card. So I am going to rotate my paper this way, actually, and I will cut off the top of my card. So I am going to now take this end and put it to the 5 3/8 line. So we want to cut off just a little bit from the top. So cut at 5 3/8. This is just leftover. We don't need that. You can save it for something else. So I'll give you guys a second to do that cut, and then I will move on to the next few cuts. Give me a thumbs up if you guys are good on that measurement. Hi, Darlene. So I'll watch for a second. I know that the comments and likes are a little bit delayed. So I'll give you guys a second if someone shoots a thumbs up or something like that so that I know you guys are good on this one, then I'll rotate to the next cut. You're good, Janet? Okay, perfect. So now we'll rotate this way, and we want to cut at every 2 inches. So how I do that in the most efficient way that I find is to just move my edge over to the 4 because I know it started off at 6. So I want to move this over to 4 and cut there, and then move over to 2 and cut there. So I now have, I'll put my cutter away, I now have 3 panels that are 5 3/8 by 2. So this is what my paper looked like, but I've got 3 equal panels. So I'm going to move these things aside here for now. And we will attach these to our card. Okay, so I'll just watch for a thumbs up again. Let me know if you guys are good. If you are up for it and you would like to share this while we're stamping, please do. Just comment to let me know that you shared. And I'll do 2 draws next week. One to give away one of these mystery cards, and then one will be for the mystery card. That is right. That'll be for the draw. And then the winner who participates in the mystery challenge, I will choose an embellishment for as well. Okay, we're good. So now we want to take these, and we're going to end up adhering them to these panels here. So I'll just bring this closer so you guys can see. That's the 2 1/8 score line. We've got the 4 1/4 score line. We want to attach these in the center of these first 2 panels, and then this one here as well. So this one does not have a score line. That's okay. We're still going to place it there. So we'll make sure your patterns are all lined up. I want mine to appear on my project in the same order they appeared here. So I'm going to adhere this one to this panel here between the 2/8 score line and the edge. So I will just grab my Stampin' Seal Plus I like to use for this. What is your guys' go-to adhesive for DSP to cardstock? You probably can't answer that very well while you're gluing paper down. So I'll attach this one. There's not a very wide reveal around here. It's pretty thin. So we've got that. Then I just take the next one And it's easier for me because I can talk while I know what I'm doing, but you guys have to stop and type if you want to answer. So you have a little bit of a disadvantage there. Tombow lately. I love Tombow for certain things. Okay, so now this one goes down centered in that next panel. And then this one will go down just to the outside of the center score line, equally spaced. So we'll get those in place. It's a good thing I haven't figured out how yet to do a live where I transition the camera and you guys can, or have two cameras where you can see me and see my workspace. I could do it on Zoom. I know how to do that and then air that to Facebook, but I would like to figure out some other ways. It's a good thing I haven't yet figured that out. I got off the treadmill and came to stamp with you guys, so you don't want to see me just right now. Oh, contraband. All right, so we now have the score line here, and our 3 panels. Everybody good with that? Give you guys a second there. We need this panel here now, which is the 2 by 5 3/8 layer of cardstock. And for this, I am going to use the stamp that I set aside. So I have this grassy image here from Grassy Grove. And I will just try to find my Grassy Grove stamp set. Okay, so we used Grassy Grove with my stamp club this month, and I make them an extra card to go with their projects. They get to make 2, and then I make a 3rd one for them. So I actually made this card for them. And this is all the images in there. So this has such a super fine detail in that one there. So it was a good one to do the faux canvas over top of, which is what I'm going to do next. I contemplated these little trees, but this layer that we're going to do something with afterwards would be in the way of it. So I skipped that and just went with this image here. So to give you guys some context so that you know where to place your stamping, this panel is going to end up here. And this is going to act like a folding mechanism across here. So if you are going to put your folding mechanism in the same place as I am, just be mindful of where you place your stamp on this panel. Mine will go here, my image will fit nicely underneath. So I'm good there. Maybe the elements that you're working with, you might need to move your panel up and down. I don't want to show you guys the complete project just yet, but these will end up on this panel as well. And when I stamp this onto here, this will end up kind of overlapping a little bit, but I'll still see the grass here and my elements won't encroach too much. So just keep that in mind when you're choosing what you're going to stamp on here, if you choose to stamp anything. You don't have to stamp on this panel. I just wanted to add a little bit of something extra there. So that's what I'm going to do. I hope that gives you guys some information to work with so that you can choose where you place your image and what image you choose for this one here. So I will move these. Actually, those can stay there. But I do need a piece of scrap because my image is a little bit too big for this piece of paper. So I need to place something underneath there to protect my work surface. Just got a scrap sheet here. And I am going to use StazOn. I want a nice bold image. So I'm going with StazOn, which is right beside me and I can't see it, right under the iPad. All right, so I'm gonna ink this up. And then I also have my Stamp Cut and Emboss machine handy so that I can run this through there once I'm done. So I'm just taking this and I wanna stamp that right along the bottom. Got a little, no, we're good. I thought I had a little smudge on there, but I don't. Okay. Hopefully I didn't get my head in your guys' view. Some of you guys told me how to do the zoom in, and we actually went live in our test group before I came here to you guys. and we figured it out. I don't think that there's anything on today's project that I need to zoom in for, but I now know how to for the future, and I know how to zoom back out. We tested it all out. So I think it was Tracy that told me how to do that. So thank you. It worked. All right. So with this now, I'm going to just give that a second to dry, and I'll stamp my greeting on this one here. So again, I was telling you guys how my little deer and my leaf will end up on here. So I want to make sure that for mine, I'm going to stamp my greeting off to the side. If you guys are putting something else on yours, you don't have to stamp in the same place I am. You just need to stamp somewhere. If you're choosing to put a greeting on yours, you want to stamp somewhere that will allow you room for whatever focal elements you're putting on there. So I am going to just realign my stamp. This is, I was telling somebody last week, I use my grid sheet. I line my block up straight along there. And then I take, so I'll use these two little lines here, a little hair on there. I'll use these two little lines, and I will pick a piece of the grid or a line on the grid underneath my block to line those up with, and that will help me ensure that my stamp is straight. I do have to stand up for this, and I hope that my head is not right in your guys' way. Okay, so there we go. I have, Linda, if you're still here, I got another fancy card in the mail from you this week. It's beautiful. Thank you. It may be the subject of another mystery stamping session. If not mystery stamping, I will use it for another live. I hope you guys love her fancy folds as much as I do. No pressure, Linda. Okay, so now I've also lined my label. It does have, this one happens to have lines on it, so I can line those up to my grid as well. Not every label has lines, but this one does, so that happens to work out well. And then I can use the grid sheet behind me to line up my block again. So I'm just going to stamp this one kind of tight in that corner because I want room for my deer. Let's hope that that's stamped nicely. There we go. And my leaf to show without encroaching too much over that. So that's all the stamping I need to do. Very minimal. I'm now going to run this through the Stamp Cut and Emboss machine. So I will show you guys that. May as well, it's handy here. Except for the handle came off, which is no big deal, but that's funny. Here you guys can see real-time stamping challenges. There we go. So I've got my platform here, and then I will put my, this is a 3D folder, so it needs to go, you don't have as many plates that go through with that. So now with my stamping there, I'll just line this up, close that. This can go on here, and then the gray plate goes on top. So when you have 3D folders, you can't use all of the plates in here. You need the special plates for it. Otherwise, it's just too thick to go through. This folder, you guys, is retiring. I love this. It's a good one for faux canvas. So if you like this technique and you don't have this folder, I haven't even checked. I should have checked before I came live to make sure that that was still available, but I will check afterwards, and if it's gone, I'll let you guys know. But you can still see all that really pretty detail in that stamped image. I had somebody stopped by to pick up some things while I was making these cards last weekend outside, and I wouldn't be stamping outside today, but last weekend I did, and she was impressed by how fine the detail is in that image. And I love that you can still see it with this folder. All right, so now I will give you guys a second. Give me a thumbs up. I'm glad you like Linda's folds. I love them as well. So I'll give you guys a second and just make sure that you've got your paper run through if you chose to do that part. So just let me know, comment or thumbs up to let me know if you guys got that part done. And then we'll work on assembly. There's really not a ton more to do. But I love this fold. I actually did not come up with this one. I altered it some. I'll show you guys what the version I cased it from was. Okay, so it looks like you guys are good. So we're gonna go ahead with assembly here. This one here, I used either Terran tape or Tombow glue to attach that one. I find sometimes when you've textured something, especially with a lot of detail, it's a little bit harder to use a tape runner on it because it might tear a layer of the cardstock off. So I will use either Tombow if it comes out nicely. If it doesn't, I will have to, it's good. I was gonna say I'll have to move on to tear and tape, but it's doing okay. I haven't assembled anything since Wednesday when we did our fundraiser, so I haven't checked on that glue in a couple of days. Wednesday? Maybe Thursday. I'm not sure. It feels like too long since I stamped anyway. I'll have lots of crafting in the coming days though. Okay, so we've got this attached here. Is that good for everybody? And then you need your bone folder. Ignore mine. I use mine often to re-ink my ink pads. So I have some that are clean, but these two happen to be full of ink. It's not going to come off of my project. It's just that it's seeped into the bone folder and stained it, but it's good. I can still use it. Okay, so we have this fold and this fold. We are going to burnish these folds. So fold that one in and then fold this one out. So now you can see this is the workings of our card. So we've got it's going to be a Z fold. So you've got your 6x6 DSP. You have no waste going across. You just have that little strip off the bottom. So this is a good card design to use up your 6x6 DSP, especially with this New Horizons DSP. It's beautiful for this fold. So we have this so far, and I'll just take a second here to tell you guys where I kind of cased or altered this idea from. So Jackie, I am not entirely sure if I'm saying her last name properly, but Balchi, I think. I'm gonna have to ask her. Maybe I didn't say that properly, but she had posted a card very similar to this. I think she stamped on this panel. I don't recall if she textured it. And then she stamped the deer from Grassy Grove right here. So she used this one here and stamped it here. I just decided to add the folding mechanism that we're going to add next, and then a couple of extra layers so that I could use that as my card for my stamp club, and then the mystery challenge for my team and for you guys. So this is what we're doing, but you could absolutely stamp on this first and then keep it to this extent here if you wanted to do that and not go as far as the Z fold mechanism that we're going to do next. So now next we've got this 1 by 8.5 strip. We've scored it at 2 1/8 and 4 1/4. We're going to burnish these folds next. So you want to fold in on the 4 1/4 and then fold back out. Gotta just be able to grab that on the 2 1/8. So burnish that as well. And then we're good with the burnishing. So you can put your bone folder away. And you can see here, your card goes this way. The Z fold is going to go the opposite way. So give that a second to catch up on the view there. And I'll show you guys next how we're going to attach these. So what we want to do, we've got the fold here, just lay that down. I'm going to use tear and tape because with this being our folding mechanism, I like to make sure that it's got a strong hold. So I'll use tear and tape, but if you don't have tear and tape or you have a different method you prefer, that's okay. So again, we've got this. I am going to put these 3 pieces of tape, one on either end of this top flap. So kind of in an H, and one across the middle. So it's this piece here and this pattern. You maybe can get away without this one. I just like to know it's held securely. And then grab some more tape in the same amounts. Now I will put these ones on this side of the long panel. So it's the long panel here, but to this side of that little flap. Hi Mireille, how are you? Hi Brenda and Deb and Jerry. Thanks guys for joining in. If we're too far ahead of the mystery stamping, hopefully you guys will catch the replay and play along with us. If you do end up sharing your project, I'll be doing a draw next week when I do the next mystery stamping. I'll just have to decide which day. This week it had to be a little delayed with the retiring list and our birthday boy here, but I'll pick a day for next week. Actually, comment and let me know. Do you guys prefer a weekday evening or a weekend afternoon? Next Saturday is our Waves of the Ocean retreat, so I can't do it next Saturday afternoon, but possibly the Sunday or later in the week on an evening. So just comment and let me know what you guys like. Okay, so now with this here, we've got the long side. We are going to glue that down to this panel here. So I'm going to take these off in just a second. I just want to show you guys, remind you where my placement is. I have designed this with the stamp here. So actually Jackie did stamp this image here. And that was what prompted me to place this right up here. I contemplated putting trees there, but then the mechanism here would have interfered, so I switched over to this. Anyhow, so I am placing this just above here, so I just want to be mindful of that when I'm placing this. I'll peel off the tape over on this side. Just a reminder, that's the tape on the long side. Hi, David. Oh, thank you. I can't take the total credit for this one. I did case the base of my design from Jackie. Oh, you watched Bridgerton? I haven't started watching that yet, but I feel like I need to because everybody's posting about Bridgerton right now. How many of you guys watch that series? Weekday evenings. So Janet, mine's about 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches, just above whatever you put here if you put something there. But the other thing to keep in mind is whatever label you chose, you want to give room for that. So I'll show you guys here. Mine is going to go right there. So I've allowed room for my image and for this. So just place it high enough up to accommodate whatever elements you chose to use. I think I need to look into this Bridgerton. I've been trying to keep myself busy working and then sometimes putting music or TV on while I'm on the treadmill along with working. So that might be a good option to help pass the time while I'm on there. Okay, so now we have this one here. We need to peel those off. So I'm just going to flatten that down. I love seeing how your guys' projects turn out too. It's always amazing. Okay, so I've got this. And then we're just going to fold this down on there. And then that should be all lined up. And now you've got your Z-fold mechanism. So how are your guys working out so far? I love this paper. There's so many different ones. I will show you guys the 2 versions that I made after as well, so that you can see what I did with the Stamp Club one. It's almost exactly the same, but I did do one slightly different version for them, or for myself. That was my original, and then altered it a bit for the club ones. Okay, so I have one more thing to do to my stamped label. I want to add a little bit of spatter, of course. You guys know me, I love to add that. It's like, I just find it adds just a little bit of detail. So I'm using black again. I used black to stamp my greeting. So I'm just gonna add a little bit of spatter. I don't want a lot. There we go. So I've got that. It's hard to see it from far away, isn't it? I could have practiced my zoom and zoomed in on it. Okay, now I have a little vellum leaf that I brought in from the January to June catalog. It punches this one and another one. I will just grab it and show you guys if I've got it handy. Or, you know, I tuck things aside and then I don't know where I've placed them. I will look for it and I will show you guys when I find it. I should have had it handy to punch for you guys so that you could see, because it's got the 2 different leaves. It's probably in the shelf and my eyes are just not seeing it from where I am. Anyway, we will carry on with assembly so you guys don't have to sit here while I struggle with finding the punch. So I'm going to just take this. I'm going to place it, I'm going to flip my card over so you can see, because it's vellum and it's hard to tell. So this is going to end up right here. I have strategically placed it there so that the stem is kind of behind the deer's leg. but then I still see some of this up here. For anyone who happens to have the same supplies as I'm using. Okay, so I've just got a little glue dot there. I'm not worried about a ton of adhesive on this punch because the deer is going to lay in front of it and that will help hold it down. So far I have this. Now I can flip this back over so you guys can see what I'm doing. And I will use the black dimensionals for the deer. And I'm just using these little edge pieces. I've been snipping pieces off these black ones to use them for different things, so I've just got little chunks of them there, but they will do. May as well use those up. So I'll just attach my deer in front of that now. And I positioned it here, missed a backing, so that it's kind of, the greeting is sort of nestled in front of him. There we go. So I'll show you guys that. And then with this here, what I need to do is, I'm choosing to dimensional it. I don't need to dimensional it, but I want to dimensional the greeting label just over here. I did offset it to the left a little bit. I didn't center it, but depending on what your elements are, you may want to center it. So I'm just placing mine a little over to the left. And again, I'm going to have to be a little bit strategic about where the dimensionals go. So I'll show you guys the placement of those too. Okay, so I'm going to use this fold here as my guide. I'm going to flip this upside down. I don't want to place any dimensionals on this portion here where it will overlap the white or it will tape the card shut. I will, however, put one on this center part here where it will touch the band. That's okay to have one there. So I'm placing these just right along here. And then I'll put one where it will attach to the band on this portion here. So I've just got this, and then when I flip this over, they will either be touching this panel or this panel. Nothing where it will touch this panel here, or again, you'll tape your card shut. Okay. It's hard to see if I'm putting that on straight with not getting my head in your guys' way. Okay, so now that's all attached and we've got most of our card done. If your belly band, or not belly band, but your Z fold mechanism was a little bit longer than the edge of your card, you could just trim that off there. I did have to do that on some of my others, but this one it worked out, so I don't have to do that, but I just wanted to mention that that might be something you guys might need to do. And all I have left is a little embellishment. So I had put in the list there, you could grab ribbon or twine, and that would be dependent on whatever your elements were. So you could leave it just at this as well if you don't have a ribbon or twine that you think is suitable. I have some white twine, of course. So I'm going to use this. I didn't want to have the full width of twine. It's fine if you do, if you have this and that's what you're doing. Not everybody wants to pull their twine apart. But I chose to just pull out 2 strands. So this way I actually get twice the amount of twine because I can now tie 2 bows. So I was able to get 2 cards out of 1 length. You could also split it into 4. This twine has 4. Some of them have 5. This is actually from last year before the single rolls retired. I think the new ones that come in the multi-pack. So this here, there may be 5 strands per length, not 4. So you might get even more out of these ones. It's just that you don't get as much white. So I'm trying to make my twine last as much as possible or as long as possible. So now I'll just tie a bow. And then I will glue dot this to my project. How about you guys? Can you be bothered to pull your twine apart, or do you just tie it and leave it? It's not for everyone, that's for sure. Hi, Karine, how are you? Thanks for your vote, Brenda. Okay, so I have these little itty bitty glue dots that I like to use. If you don't have these little tiny ones, you can always take a Stampin' Up! Glue dot and roll it and just make it a little bit smaller so that your bow doesn't have too big of a big glue dot. I accidentally moved that and stuck the bow down, twisted onto the glue dot. You don't want to do that either. Okay, this one's a bum glue dot. I did not do that properly. Pull that glue dot off and restart. I never like having to restart my bow after I've trimmed the ends because then I've got to center the bow and it's a little bit hard. Do you guys agree? You are not dividing twine. So now my bow is going to be a little bit shorter, but that's okay. So I'll show you how to roll your twine. You can just kind of roll it on there and then it's smaller and a little bit more friendly sized for thin little bows. So now I can stick that knot to that tiny little bow. This time I'll grab my piercer instead of a pair of scissors to lift that off. And then I'm just tucking mine right up here on the stem of that leaf above the little deer. So that's all I did for that little embellishment. And now it's all done. I miss the one thing I miss when doing mystery stamping is that in class at this point, everybody would show me their card and I love seeing their card. So I miss getting to see it right here with you guys, but I love that I will get to see the photo of it on my page if you guys all take a photo and post it there. So I will post a photo of this card and then you guys will take a photo of your card and you will put it in the comments of that post. And that's how I'll know to count you in the draw to win the prize for next week when I do the next mystery stamping. I announced the winner yesterday for last week's mystery stamping. So the brushed brass butterflies went to Tammy Fraser. She had participated along with that. So we did the draw. And she'll get those. So I will pick an embellishment and I'll put it on the post with this card. And of course it'll always be not while supplies last, but supplies permitting. So if it's sold out, then I would pick something else. But you'll still get a gift. So with it being an actual gift, that's only open to Canadian residents. But if someone from another country played along, I could give them a card in the mail. That I'm allowed to do. Yeah, I'll put the measurements in the post where I post this card, Brenda. So I'll post actually this photo. I will repost the photo with the ingredients, and then I will post what the score lines are as well, because you'll need those if you want to create the project. And then just take a photo of your project, post it in the comments. That's how I'll know to include you. And then I will announce the winner when I do them next mystery stamping. So I'll pick a day for that and announce that as well. So just a quick recap in case anybody is wondering about the upcoming events and what is still going on with Stampin' Up. So if you are interested in the Waves of the Ocean retreat, it is next Saturday. You can still purchase the tutorial only option. We have posted the tutorials now, so if you have already purchased that option and you are doing the retreat, they're in our private retreat page, so you can access them there. And yeah, you can still purchase those if you haven't yet and want to, and then you can start prepping your stuff whenever you're ready. Thanks, Joanne. So again, this one was, the base of this was a design of Jackie's. I've seen some other people do it since. I did say I would show you guys the originals. I almost forgot, so I'll bring those in before I go back to those promotions. This was the original one I did. I used the thanks from the, I think it's called Amazing Thanks, dies in the January to June catalog. And then I decided that I really should just use a stamp from the set because my Stamp Club members got the set this month. So I switched it out, and instead of doing the scripty die cut thanks on this one has different DSP as well. I switched it out to doing the thank you, and then that's what I've used on today's, but different paper. So same card, different paper, and then you've got the Z fold mechanism. So that's today's mystery stamping project. You will get this one in the photo where you're looking for where to comment with your card to play along with the mystery challenge. So that's those. And so Waves of the Ocean, you can still get the tutorial only option and you can join us. We have posted a sneak peek. That's what I was trying to remember. I posted a sneak peek a couple of days ago for those of you who are not participants. And then for those of you who are participants, you can see the full project in the tutorial. So you're not kind of prepping blindly. You can see what's there. And then we will likely post full projects after the event, not with all the tutorials, but just so you can see what we made. And then we do still have the last chance sale on. So if you are interested in participating in this, if you choose to shop online, you can use this host code. With a $65 order. You will get a free gift. With a $100 order, you'll still get the free gift and you'll be invited to my retirement party. Stuff is already selling out. I had printed the list off the other day and I think there was close to 10 stamp sets that are already gone. So if there's something that you want, don't delay on that. And we still have the Savings Are in Bloom promotion on. So that runs till the end of March. So some of those retiring stamp sets and bundles, you can still get them till the end of March at 20% off. So don't forget to check that out if you're looking at placing an order, whether it's online or whether you're sending it to myself. And then you can also still purchase the tutorial for the Beyond the Horizon Paper Pumpkin class. We are doing that on April 4th at 7. We have 3 alternate projects planned, and I think we might be posting a sneak peek of those as well, but I can just watch for it on my page if you're interested in that. Did any of you get the March Paper Pumpkin? There's some interesting projects that I've seen with it. It's kind of cute. All right, I think that is everything for today, but I will post when I will come live again. I've got to make a schedule for this coming week. So tomorrow I will post what the schedule will be and I'll let you know if I can go live tomorrow. Did you open it up and check everything out inside it, Ramona? Do you like it? There's 2 stamps in there. It's pretty nice. One of my alternate projects is using the alternate flower set that they sent you in there, and actually Laura's is as well. So you guys will still have lots of the materials in there to make other projects. We use some from the kit and supplement with other product, so they'll be nice cards. Okay, so that's everything for today. I will post some updates for you guys shortly. I have to take the photo of this project because my other versions are not this one, so I need to quickly take this photo and then I will post it so that you guys can get posting your cards on that thread. Does that make sense? What the process is for adding your photos of this one. I should also just say, if anybody is looking to rewatch any of these, you can rewatch them here on Facebook, or we have now loaded everything up until now. So YouTube is current with all of my lives transferred over there. So it's easy to find them all in one place. And hopefully I will get to add more there as well. All right. Thank you so much, everybody. I'm glad that you guys could join in, and I'm excited to see what you made. Talk to you guys soon.